Coming up, a hoverboard to blame for a house fire in Sergeant Bluff. We'll take you to the scene.
While Siouxland continues to deal with a truck driver shortage, it's not the only problem the industry faces.
Plus, Iowa lawmakers approve new election boundaries for state and federal offices. Your KCAU 9 News at 10 starts now.
We are Siouxland proud. This is KCAU 9 News at 10.
And good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Tim Seaman.
And I'm Sophie Erber. A previously approved Dakota County Jail project is now on hold after a vote by county commissioners.
KCAU 9 reporter Jason Toktajian shares why that project is delayed and the frustrations being expressed by the county sheriff. It's all in our top story at 10.
Tim and Sophie, the near $11 million expansion of the Dakota County Jail would see construction over the current parking area. But a decision by the county commissioners have left some officials scratching their heads.
Last week, the Dakota County Commissioners voted to delay the county jail expansion project. Commissioner Janet Gill says the total cost of the project is still unclear.
They were tentatively planning to put a construction manager into place, and we were a little bit at odds on that because part of us felt as though we needed to have a real feel what the overall cost was before we move forward with actual construction planning.
Gill says they want to be confident taxpayer money won't be used to complete the project.
We all are fiduciaries for our county taxpayers, and we want to make sure the debt that is taken on will be county debt and not from the government. It really is important to do your due diligence and make sure you know all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed.
But Dakota County Sheriff Chris Kleinberg says the 3-2 vote in favor of delaying the expansion is frustrating when the project was already signed off by the commission a couple months ago.
I don't understand why you would, as a board, enter an agreement with the federal government and a major architect firm and then decide that you want to ask questions. I would think that if the board was doing their job and representing their citizens, they would have done that prior to signing.
Sheriff Kleinberg says the jail extension would pay for itself if the county moves forward, but delays could end up costing the county.
It's already paid for. It's not coming out of general fund. It's not coming from the taxpayers. It's coming from my jail staff and my sheriff's staff that do the extra work to handle these inmates. After the 30 months when it's paid for, estimates of $3 to $4 million a year in just extra revenue coming into the county. What's going to happen now is if it doesn't go, well, this county is going to be paying a lot of money for getting out of contracts and the stuff they've already done.
When complete, Kleinberg says 112 more beds would be added to the jail's capacity, and the discussion over hiring a construction management company to proceed with the expansion is on the agenda for next Monday's meeting. Jason Toktajian, KCAU 9 News.
A hoverboard is being blamed tonight for a Sergeant Bluff house fire. Firefighters say that hoverboard burst into flames while charging, and then the fire spread to a nearby couch. Tonight, the house on West 8th Street is red tagged. The family is working with several organizations to secure housing assistance for the next few weeks. The good news, no one was injured.
Both the House and the Senate approved redistricting maps today in special session in Iowa. In the Senate, very little debate, and all but one senator voted for the changes that would determine the district boundaries for the next decade. The House approved those maps shortly after the Senate, voting 93-2 with 5 absent. In this version, voter registration totals remain roughly the same to those of the current congressional districts.
During that special session, Republicans also introduced a bill that would make it possible for Iowans to opt out of vaccine mandates set by businesses. That bill allows people that were let go due to a vaccine mandate vaccine mandate by their employer to receive unemployment benefits. The House passed that measure 67-27, with the Senate following on a 45-4 tally. Now, if signed by the governor, employees would also be able to get an exemption from a vaccine mandate for religious and medical reasons. No doctor's note needed. The move has many asking if that measure is even legal. A Drake University professor and attorney says this short-term solution could lead to several long-term effects.
Just turning in a statement is not only presumed to be sincere, but has to be accepted based on the way that this language is written. And that's problematic because that would not allow employers to be complying with the federal requirements.
Hill says eyes are now on Iowa, waiting to see if Governor Kim Reynolds will sign that measure into law.
Before leaving for Rome, President Joe Biden visited Capitol Hill today to present the new framework of his Build Back Better plan to House Democrats. President Biden's latest pitch had a price tag of $1.75 trillion and cuts out some of the initial promises made. The president calling it a compromise. However, House progressives say they're not comfortable proceeding until they know for sure moderate Senate Democrats will sign on.
He said he's confident he can get the votes. It wasn't clear whether the two senators have committed to vote for it.
We need both bills to ride together, and we don't have that right now. Also, I felt a little bamboozled because this was not what I thought was coming today.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says Democrats might be willing to stay in D.C. through the weekend until both of those bills are ready for a vote. Meanwhile, here in Siouxland, we continue to deal with the truck driver shortage, and it's not the only problem that industry is facing. As
KCAU 9 reporter Nick Wilson explains, just getting trucks to put on the road is now difficult.
T-Roan Transport in Homer, Nebraska is fully staffed with 40 drivers. But Ty Van Scoik, company president, says waiting for new trucks is hurting his business.
It's hard to get new trucks, and it's hard to find drivers. Like I said, we're fortunate enough. All of our trucks are full at the moment, but more and more people are calling, and wanting us to pull for them, but you can't get trucks and drivers at this time.
Bill Rohde is the president of Rohde Trucking. He says waiting for new trucks is a year-long process.
Looking down the road 12 months, we don't know if we're going to be able to receive any new trucks after the first year until the end of next year. So 22, if we get any new trucks at all, I'll be very fortunate.
And he doesn't think the problem is going away anytime soon.
I can't see this thing changing for at least 2 years. I just can't see it happening. Once you get this far behind, nationwide, it takes, I don't think 2 years will catch up.
They hope to add 4 to 8 trucks each year, but they're only expecting 2 more this year, and anything after that is unknown. In Homer, Nebraska, Nick Wilson, KCAU 9 News.
Hundreds of Siouxlanders curbed their candy cravings this evening, or maybe made them worse, at the Tyson Event Center with an early trick-or-treating event.
The Ghostbusters were there to welcome guests into the center. Roughly 30 other businesses all camped around the balcony passing candy to everything from superheroes to princesses and royal courts for sure. Our very own KCAU team even getting in on the action at this year's event. The 2-hour candy parade went over pretty well.
You get to dress up, you get lots of candy, that's the best part. When we go trick-or-treat, I love having Halloween.
Tons of Halloween events will be going on around Siouxland this weekend, and if you want to look at what's planned, you can go to our website. We have a full list at SiouxlandProud.com. I was at that event last year, a great showing then. It looks like an even better showing tonight, a little bit past the height of the pandemic, and some great costumes once again. Some interesting
Growing
stuff.
into a good tradition, it looks
really
like.
is at the Tyson.
You don't have to be concerned about the weather either.
I was going to say, not a bad night to be inside, really, although no rain to contend with, just some wind and chilly temps.
Yeah, we had a strong breeze out there today, Tim and Sophie. We had some gusts over 40 miles an hour at times, but that is starting to be reeled back in as we proceed through tonight. Looking outdoors from the Ho-Chunk Center camera now posted up in downtown Sioux City. This view brought to you by the Port Neal Welding Company. The almanac for today displays that our high temperature was able to stand up to 58 degrees this afternoon, a couple of degrees above the average of 56, and the low temperature this morning at 46 degrees. Here's what's happening now in Sioux City. We have a temperature in the upper 40s. It is 49 degrees outside with the north wind spilling in at 15 miles an hour. Relative humidity 74% and the dew point at 41. Checking out temperatures throughout the area. They're primarily in the 40s. It is 47 degrees in Yankton, 44 to the west in O'Neill. A current temperature of 49 in Norfolk and Sioux City. Meanwhile, a temperature of 47 in Cherokee. 45 degrees up in Sheldon and a couple of 50s as you move into southern parts of Siouxland. It is currently 50 degrees in Denison and Tequima, 52 outside in Omaha. There you can see that we still have that strong breeze coming in from the north-northwest between 10 and 20 miles per hour sustained. So again, we have lost some of the strength versus earlier this afternoon, but you can certainly notice it and feel that bite to the air as you step outside. We do still have some gusts up near 30 miles per hour in southern parts of our coverage area. Currently at 28 miles per hour from the north Northwest in Tacoma, 29 in both Carroll and Omaha. So looks like the wind is still going to be somewhat of a nuisance tomorrow before it dies down heading into Saturday. Checking the radar picture, we have had a continuation of some very light rain showers in eastern parts of Siouxland through the afternoon. It looks like that's winding down as that system continues to fall apart and shift off to the east. But of course, a ton of rain happened in Siouxland yesterday. Checking the stormcast here, it shows that we'll be able to maintain a mostly clear sky for tonight, especially for points west of Interstate 29. Still a few clouds hanging around in parts of northwest Iowa. Going through the daytime tomorrow, bright sunny skies, high temperatures in the upper 50s. So a great way to kick off the final weekend of October. And it should be genuinely mild as we move into our Saturday, moving past some morning fog here. It looks like we'll have bright sunny skies and high temperatures in the 60s for much of the region. So looks to be a beautiful weekend in Siouxland, though it will cool off a notch going into Halloween on Sunday. Tonight, a low temperature of 37, maintaining mostly clear skies, cool conditions. Tomorrow, a high of 59. It looks like it'll be sunny and a little bit warmer than today. Northwest winds flowing through with gusts up to about 25. If you're taking the kids out trick-or-treating on Sunday, here's what you can anticipate. Looks like we'll have sunny skies, a temperature of 49 degrees at 6 o'clock, moving down to 44 at 7, and we'll have mostly clear skies, a temperature of 40 degrees at 8. It will also be pretty breezy here on Sunday, as it looks like the wind will accelerate once more up to about 30 miles per hour. So kind of cool out there for trick-or-treating conditions, but at least there's no snow to be concerned with as we've had on past Halloweens. Moving through the 9-on-9 forecast, then it looks like we'll have highs in the 50s and 60s for a few days. Saturday appears to be the nicest in the near future. 49, a small chance of a shower passing through on Monday morning, and it looks like highs are mainly going to be in the 40s for the first week of November. Overnight lows rather brisk in the mid-20s throughout next week. Here's a nice picture to share with you tonight. It comes to us from Linda Swales. This was taken in Crofton, Nebraska. As you can see, that we have some yellows mixing in with the greens of the trees continuing to change out there. If you have a picture that you want to share with everybody, make sure to send it on in to weather@kcautv.com. It's an easy process. We send you a form after we get the picture. Fill it out, send it back, and we'll show your photo right here on KCAU 9 News. We've been getting a lot of them recently.
We have, and there were some beautiful sunsets across Siouxland tonight, so I hope somebody captured one of those for us.
That's right.
We probably need to take advantage of that 60 whatever on Saturday because those aren't going to be around much longer.
Yeah, I know that I have some yard work to do, so Saturday is the day I'm circling.
All right, thanks a lot, Scott. Well, it can be a challenge for charities to raise money, but a pair of auctioneers are helping local organizers get big bids.
Holy cow, give them both a hand, but I'm going to sell it down here for $6,500. Woo!
How two Siouxland men with unique talents are helping local nonprofits raise millions in tonight's edition of Siouxland Stories.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Tim Seaman, Sophie Erber, Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson, and Sports Director Jake Jones. This is KCAU 9 News at 10.
Fundraising is the lifeblood for any nonprofit organization, but finding a way to connect with donors can be the difference between great success or failure.
Anne Frank once said, "No one has ever become poor by giving." And if that's the case, Randy Stabe and Clint Voss are wealthy men, not because they might have deep pockets, but because they're blessed with an immeasurable talent. I recently caught up with the pair at a Musketeers jersey auction, raising funds to support the fight against cancer in Siouxland.
All right, up next.
You might know them by their signature cowboy hats.
5 now 6, 600 now 7, 70 now 600 now 7.
Or maybe the stylish syncopation these two veteran auctioneers use.
Sold it to number 55, $700, $700.
But in most cases, Randy Stabe and Clint Voss are known simply as the guys who volunteer their time calling charity auctions in Siouxland.
You came this far, 27, and now 8.
You call Clint, you call Randy, you know it's going to get done, and you know it's going to get done right.
We could not do our fundraising when we do our events without Randy and Clint being there.
They really want to make it as big of an impact as possible, and so it's fun to work with them.
The pair have been fundraising together for 44 years, first partnering up in 1977 for a boys club event that they still do.
Over the last 40-some years, they've actually raised over $1 million for our club.
You'll find Stabe and Voss center stage at around 30 charity events each year.
Benefits will give us something in the mail, you know, a gift card or whatever, or a thanks. And there's one calling right now, Randy.
It's nothing for these guys to have 3 auctions in the same week, but saying no is not an option.
We have a very, very giving community where you don't know who's going to step up. Just an average Joe will step up and give a couple $1,000s to an event that means a lot to them. The Wine and Roses, the cumulative between like Lamar's and Sioux City, that'll be a couple $100,000. We just recently did the Freedom Park. That was a $100,000 event. The little Lawton Bronson, a small little youth football, those two communities get together. It was a $45,000 event. And again, it's all about the Siouxland community, not about what Randy and I do.
Holy cow, give them both a hand, but I'm going to sell it down here for $6,500. Woo! Wow, that was great.
This Saturday, the twosome heads to Camp High Hopes, looking to scare up a few dollars. Whether it's the jokes they tell or the direct appeals they make.
You're calling me? I'm busy. I'm busy.
The pair will rock any crowd.
We've done so many of them for so many years. We have got to know a lot of the people that we can pick on.
We get fired up. It's go time. You know, it's seriously. People spent a lot of time, worked hard. People have donated. Not only the people that purchase these items, you have to think about a lot of times the average business in Sioux City that donates those things.
You know, it just fills your heart and it makes you happy that you can raise as much money as we can. We ring in their arm a little bit to get a little more, but yeah, we enjoy it.
And if you happen to be one of the many who have answered their call,
sold it over here, $800. You were a good bidder, buddy.
They say thank you.
We've been able to gain a lot of friendships and people that we never would have had an opportunity to meet.
I don't see us, stepping down anytime soon.
Like clockwork, the pair helped raise more than $40,000 at that charity event last weekend. And if you have a Siouxland story, we hope you'll share it with us. Just send us an email at news@kcautv.com. Sophie and I have Siouxland stories every Thursday.
That's right. Keep them coming at Crosscheck Cancer. Great event.
It was.
I didn't know the men behind that voice, so very interesting story.
They stand out, that's for sure. Just like the ice for that event. Kind of.
Yes.
Yeah, the lavender ice, definitely a nice
cool
touch. They do a lot of things really, really well every year with Crosscheck Cancer.
They do. But you have very different news for us tonight, not hockey.
Just a little bit, not quite ice, but it's getting a little nippy out there. Yeah, playoff football time. A little chilly, good football weather though. Vermilion and Elk Point Jefferson both looking to advance to the next round of the South Dakota playoffs. Those highlights and more still to come after the break. And then fell in the tournament semifinals to NDSU. But with a host of returners, they hope that we'll have some experience that will outweigh some pretty big losses in the scoring department. Leading scorer Stanley Amude transferred to Arkansas, while second leading scorer AJ Plittaway found himself that he's going to be out for the year after suffering a leg injury late last season. Xavier Fuller, Tassos Camateros, and Cruz Pero Hunt are the team's top returning scorers and should see their production increase, while transfer Eric Oliver is expected to help fill that scoring void as well. But it'll have to be a group effort offensively for Todd Lee's team.
Might not be just like last year, Stan and AJ will have the ball and make some miracle play for us when times get tough. But I think this year, anybody's able to, step up and make those sort of plays. And I think we have faith in the team that anybody can do it.
The guys that were a little bit more role players last year obviously have to step up from a leadership standpoint. They do have to step up from a scoring standpoint because of who we lost. But you're going to see that they're much better, every one of them.
Coyotes opening their season on 11-11 when Sioux Falls when they take on Air Force, the Sanford Pentagon. We're seeing a lot of good games coming up to the Sanford Pentagon.
You mentioned the Yote women had Oklahoma.
Oklahoma is
yeah,
coming. They're coming to Vermilion though. Get that home crowd
in the big building there.
Should help them there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jake. And we check in for one final forecast with Scott. First, we'll take you outside right now in downtown Sioux City on a chilly night.
Sophie and I are flanked by a couple of movie buffs here at KCAU
We are.
tonight, if you didn't know that. So you guys may want to listen up here.
Yeah.
We got lots of knickknacks and stuff that
This
you
is
collect.
cool.
It's something from Hollywood. If you've ever looked for it, this is a pretty good chance.
Check it out. Props and costumes from shows and movies like The Munsters, Nightmare on Elm Street, Jaws, Star Wars, all up for auction in Beverly Hills. Plenty of costumes from Eddie and Herman Munster to Jack and Rose from Titanic. That's iconic. The auction closes next week. Now, I don't know what any of these are going for, but I would imagine that if they are the originals, it's a pretty penny.
Probably up there quite a bit. It'd be good if you could do it online too, because I know you're not getting off work to go to
Yeah, we're not
Beverly
sending you to
Hills.
Hollywood.
What are you talking about?
I think they'll accept a payment plan.
You can buy C3PO in pieces.
No,
maybe.
that's clever.
Take one of his fingers, I don't know.
Start a station pool. Well, we hope that you have a great rest of your evening.
And we'll be back tomorrow on Friday. Good night.